is changing at a rate that we've never seen before. From business to art to sports, these changes are affecting every aspect of our lives. My name is Nick Castner, and we're setting out to talk with the people who are altering the way things are done. Along with Alec McChesney, this is The Commonwealth. On my show today is Cody Cruz-Ferrix, a former marijuana distributor and now rapper. Cody, thanks for coming on the show with me today.
How we doing, Nick? Good to see you, my boy.
Good. Most of my guests have not been homies since middle school.
Man, this is real day one type shit right here.
Real day one. We would always go to basketball camp growing up.
Oh, dude, every summer.
Every single summer. And we would cause a ruckus at basketball camp.
Hey, that's true, man. Those are some of the best times, man. Yeah. Those are some of the best times.
Yeah.
Even before that, man.
Yeah.
In 8th grade, middle school. Remember that? You remember that one night at your house that we with them bottles?
We don't need to talk about that. Yeah, we don't even need to. We do have funny shit we can talk about on air, but
yeah, we better keep that one for the
that one. Yeah, ask us when you see us next. All right, Cody. So,
what do we got, man? Dude? What we got?
Yeah. I'm bringing you on the show because you've always been hustling. But through, I guess, kind of towards the tail end of college, I guess, you started distributing marijuana is the term we decided beforehand.
Yeah, pre-show. So I don't sound like a total dumbass, man, even though during that time of my life I was acting like a total dumbass.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, I'm ready to answer whatever you got, dude.
Yeah, okay, so...
But yeah, let me put it out there that I am no longer doing this and never will again. And I look back on this part of my life with a little bit of shame. I don't regret nothing, but hey, man, shit happens. I'm still glad to be here, man.
Yeah.
I'm willing to talk about my bad experiences and shit, you know?
Yeah. It was quite the ride too. So I appreciate you being open and talking about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Why you? I got to be honest with myself about the bad shit I've done in my life, and the good shit. So I'll talk about everything,
Mm-hmm. So how did you start selling pot? When did you?
Dude, I actually just kind of fell into it, man. I was even throughout the whole time I was doing it, I had a job and everything. I was always working part time somewhere. Just trying to keep a legal job, some clean money coming in. But yeah, I just kind of fell into it through some homies, man. I just started hanging out with some different guys, man, that were into that type of shit. And before you know it, I was doing it too, man. So it really just goes to show, man, who you hang around, you can easily become. There's a lot of influence coming from the people you surround yourself with. So choose that wisely,
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, that's how I got into it, man. I was just hanging with the wrong crowd, but I wouldn't say it's the wrong crowd because I met a lot of good dudes, man. But people make choices in their lives that they just got to deal with the consequences with, and in that business, unfortunately, you got certain consequences that just comes with it, man. If that's what you want to get yourself involved in.
Yeah. So after you started hanging with this group, is that where you got your supply from? Like just your friends?
Originally, yeah. We was kind of always hanging out, and there's a couple dudes that were, definitely like had a lot coming in. Had a lot of supply coming in.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very hard to find. It was just a matter of finding people that wanted it, and which also isn't very hard to find in a college town. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at it from that perspective, it's a pretty easy business approach to make some fast money. And that's basically what kind of lured me in, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It was just some quick cash in my pocket, go buy some shoes or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid though, you know what I'm saying? Just because it's an unwinnable game. You can only go so far until something happens, Some people operate a little longer than others, and some people don't, But
yeah,
eventually something's gonna happen because when you're in an illegal business where everything you're dealing with is illegal, you're gonna get involved with people who do illegal shit,
Mm-hmm.
Which comes with like more than just selling drugs. It comes with like violent type shit and anything, like manipulation type shit. I mean, you learn a lot about life doing that type of shit, just because you see all different kinds of people, and you got something that they want, right? So that might bring out the worst in some people, or bring out like a mask of what is the best, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what do you think you learn about people doing this?
Dude, I learned a lot, man. I mean, I honestly feel like business-wise, people skills are super important, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to be a good businessman, you can't really go to school to teach someone how to talk to a person, or how to have a intellectual conversation with a person. So you just got to learn through experience, man. And I feel like that gave me experience with all different types of people, man. Like, so I feel like I'm pretty comfortable in most situations where I can talk and be myself.
Yeah. And so how did you grow this business? From the start, was your goal to grow it, or were you just like, oh, some cash? And then...
Yeah, that's basically what it was. And then it just kind of started moving up a little bit, you know, and I started making more cash, and I was able to buy more product. And it was just easy, man, you know, I mean, it was just easy. So I just kept growing. Yeah. And eventually I got to the point where it was pretty large, and it was just getting overwhelming, you know?
So how did you get it to the, like, how would you acquire new customers as a business term? Like, how do you find
mostly
people?
Through, like, word of mouth, man, or just, like a friend telling a friend, you know?
Yeah.
A friend would bring a friend over. Next thing you know, I'm meeting their friends, and then I'm meeting a whole new friend group, and then that just starts the cycle over, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super easy in a college town where when you got something that pretty much everyone does, like, everyone smokes weed nowadays, man, so.
And so when did you do this in relative to when Colorado legalized marijuana?
Oh, it was already legal in Colorado. It was recreationally legal too, honestly. But
because when did that happen? Like when we were in high school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And dude, honestly, medically, legalization was in like 2000. I think it was 2000, dude, in Colorado.
Okay.
That long ago, like.
Yeah.
So it's been legal there for a while, but. That don't mean it's legal all the way 6 hours over in Lincoln. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
There's people that have they make all their money off just driving weed from Colorado to Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? And that's why people get caught every single day on the interstate.
Yeah.
Man. But people do it every day, man. Like, drugs get shipped all over the whole United States, man.
Yeah, and
every day.
And through a mutual friend, I heard that it would be shipped in the mail, and that's the thing that's getting shipped through the USPS.
It would come through the mail all the time, man. I would get a box in the mail all the time. Yeah, and there was weed in there.
And so was your supply mainly coming from Colorado? Is that where it was?
That's where it all comes from, man. It all comes from Colorado. Well, sometimes it would come from Cali. Anywhere where they're producing large amounts of weed, you know. Where weed is legal comes a lot of growers that are trying to make their own living off selling to dispensaries, right? So you got all these growers that are selling to dispensaries, but you also got all their dudes, all the boys that they know that are also kind of doing the same thing on the side. Maybe they didn't have enough money to try to start up a dispensary or start up a grow op that would sell to a dispensary. They'll just take that. I mean, their homies, the growers, will sell it to their homies for cheap, you know, and then they'll move it illegally, and that's basically how most of us would get it.
Yeah.
It's like from a grower, because all the weed that we would get would be top shelf type product, you know.
And how would you get connected with like those guys in California or the dispensaries? Just again, word of mouth.
And word of mouth. You know, always phones. You know, you can meet anyone over like social media or just a quick FaceTime or even text message, man. But actually meeting, it would just definitely be word of mouth. Because you don't want to talk about that type of stuff over the phone too much, you know?
Yeah. Or like Facebook Messenger seems like a weird
none of that. There's people patrolling that stuff at all times. So anyone out there making deals on Messenger, Instagram, Snapchat, watch out.
Yeah.
They patrolling you.
And then so as it was scaling up, did you ever like realize how big it was getting, or was it just
I definitely did, bro. I definitely realized how big it was getting. I was getting scared and nervous, man. Because I knew it's not something I wanted to do, man. It's like, I mean, it was fun at the time, and it was exciting, and, you know, it was cool. But I mean, it's obviously not something you can make a career out of, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't do. I knew it was a means to an end, and I wanted to just get a certain number of cash and get out just right then and there.
Yeah.
But that happened to me numerous times, and I kept saying, all right, it's my last one. You know, this is my last time. And then I do it again. You know? When you have that many people hitting you up every day, wanting it, and it's just like, damn, it's right there. That money could be made in like 5 minutes, you know? It's just like, that's a hard thing to stray away from when you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah. Was it stressful?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes. I mean, there was always people trying to get the best of me, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are always people trying to manipulate me. That's another reason I learned a lot about people, because, like I said, when you got something that they want, they're going to do anything in their power that they can do to try to, like, swindle you, you know what I'm saying, to get what's best for them. So, yeah, like, I've been, like I said in one of my songs, I've been jacked, I've been scammed, like a butter knife, I've been in some jams. but I have been scammed, dude. I've been, I've made many mistakes, and I've tried to learn from them. That's all you can do. That's all you can do with any mistake in life, and that's why I take that whole experience as just a big mistake in my life, and I just take what good I can from it. And all the bad, I just remember so I don't do anything like that again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when people would, how would you prevent people from ripping you off and moving forward? I think like even outside of this context, there are scammers out there.
Yeah. Most of the time, most people aren't like. A lot of people don't have the nerve to just like straight up, like say what they're thinking. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will try to like maneuver their way in like through cleverness and like through manipulation, right? So they'll try to like do it, just like disguise it, instead of like just like straight up say coming up and just like robbing someone, like say running in the house with guns, robbing someone, versus some guy coming in and trying to talk his way into getting a deal, or you know what I'm saying, or getting something free from you. It's just there's different ways to get stuff, and some people try to do it that way. So to prevent it, honestly, I would just try to be like upfront, like I'm really not trying to make a bunch of friends here. I'm just trying to get it and go, man.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like that's another reason why I shouldn't have been doing it, because I'm way too friendly of a guy to do that with everyone, man. I'm just a naturally cool dude, and I get along with people, man. So I become friends with them, Yeah. And I made a lot of cool ass friends through that shit. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but there's always some people that will disguise themselves as a friend,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so you touched on like other illegal things happening around this.
Dude, yeah, like I said, once you get in that game, everything become like you're around illegal things all the time. Like then here comes all of a sudden you start meeting people that deal harder drugs. You know what I'm saying? That's dealing meth and coke and pills and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're contemplating about dealing that shit too, because you see how this guy's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you met him and he seems decent. You know what I'm saying? But that shit's played out, man. It's. I don't know. You can only do it so long, man. And it's not a good way to make your money.
Yeah. So what's your perspective on legalization
of weed?
Yeah, weed.
Dude, I definitely think weed should be legal, man. I think, man, I sometimes I'll be thinking that all drugs should be legal, man, because I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, so I don't want the government coming after me for these words. But half the time, I feel like the government don't care about the well-being of humans. They just care about the money. And the fact that there's so much money in illegal drug businesses kind of messes up their flow. If they made all drugs legal and just taxed the shit out of them, they'd be getting all that money. Wouldn't have to worry about, all the illegal distribution. They'd be the ones distributing it,
Yeah.
If people want to go mess their lives up and buy some meth or something, you know what I'm saying? Go let them do it. They tax it. They could be a certain age. I mean, that's a thought,
Yeah.
I don't know how well it would work out. I mean, but
yeah,
you wouldn't be like having any more like, I don't know, people dying from like some fentanyl or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mac Miller. Yeah.
I mean, the dude he bought a Percocet from that guy and it was fentanyl. You know what I'm saying? But say there was a shop you just went to buy some Percocet. If you wanted it, you know what I'm saying? It would be real.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's kind of far-fetched because there would be abuse in legalization of all drugs.
Yeah,
right? But there's abuse with the illegalization. There's abuse with those drugs already.
Yeah,
So would it be more abuse or less? I don't know.
Yeah. On abuse, while you were dealing weed, did you... when people are addicted to weed or like abusing weed, it's a little different than abusing meth or pills.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Dude, you'd be surprised how many like old ladies I used to sell bud to that would like come buy an ounce from me and they say like they had cancer or some shit. And they would smoke weed every day, and they, like one girl told me she had terminal brain cancer. I don't know if she was lying to me or not, but one girl that I was selling bud to brought her grandma over one time, and she was like being dead real to me. She said she had a brain tumor, and she was smoking weed every day, and it went benign, and she went into remission.
Wow!
And she totally cured her cancer. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
Or not,
it's a good story.
It is.
Yeah, I like to believe her.
Yeah, I would too. I'd like to. But she. I don't know, man. I'd like to believe her too. I don't know, man. It's hard to say how good or bad it is for someone. I think it all comes with a person's ability to put down what they pick up. Like everything comes good with moderation. If you do anything too much, if you're stoned all day, you're probably not going to get a whole lot done.
Yeah.
But I think if you smoke a little bit every night or a little bit every weekend or something like that, I mean, I think that's probably the safest common drug out there for you versus like alcohol, cigarettes. You feel me?
Yeah, no, it's definitely see where you're coming from. So in 2017, in an attempt to rob you, someone shot you twice, once in the hip and the other time in the back.
Yeah, bro, I actually got shot 3 times, man, but the third one was a ricochet, I think, because it didn't fully penetrate. I got shot in the ribs, and it hit one of my ribs, and the bullet didn't fully penetrate my body. But the other 2 are still in my body.
So what happened?
Shit, I was just a deal gone wrong, man, is really all it was. Like I was saying earlier, you can only operate in illegal business for so long until something comes and stops you, whether it be the law, whether it be some, crazy fuckers, man.
Yeah.
It's just trying to get a quick buck. But yeah, that's what happened, man. They just came in and, they said, "Where's the shit?" And I said, "Where's the money?" And he had a backpack on, and he said, "I got the money right here," unzipped the backpack and pulled out the pistol right 2 inches from my face. And I didn't know what to think, man. I just jumped. I tried to lunge myself at him and throw a punch at his chin, man. But he came in with 2 dudes, and there was one dude on the other side of me. We were sitting at a round table, and I was in the middle. The other dude was behind him. To my I can't think of the word, but I didn't know that the dude had his gun out behind me, and he shot me right as I tried to lunge at that dude. Felt that shit right in my butt, dude. Right in the top of my ass.
Okay. Did it hurt? That's not even a dumb question. What did it hurt like?
Dude, it stung, bro. It burned. Like, it felt like, I don't know. It was a crazy feeling. Like, I remember feeling the pain, and then it released a total, howl out of me. I was like, ah! I mean, at the same time, I heard the bullet. I felt that bullet before I heard it. That bitch traveled faster than the speed of sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt it before I heard it. Yeah. It was hot, man. And after I felt that first one, I turned around. I was thinking, I'm getting out of here. And I tried to run, but that first bullet hit me in my pelvic wing, and it broke it. So I couldn't run, dude. I took a step and I fell. And I remember just laying there, man. It was in the midst of all that, I had to have got hit in the back again. I didn't even feel the second 2 shots. I only felt the first one. The first one hurt like a bitch. I didn't even feel the other 2 because my adrenaline was pumping so hard. I didn't feel anything after the first one.
So there were 2 guys.
2 guys. Two guys shooting. Yeah. And after I fell on the ground, it was like a little corridor type hallway before my door that I was trying to head to, and that's where they ran out too. And I remember laying there, and one kid had to know what he was doing because he was the one who shot me the first 2 times. But the other kid, he didn't really know what he was doing, man, because that gun was just kicking, boom, boom. He couldn't hold on to it.
And side cock.
Yeah, he was trying to side cock it. Yeah, and that's where I think I caught the third bullet because he was sending shots through my cabinets, through my wall, through my door. My glass door broke. There was a bullet that went and skated across the street and hit the neighbor's house.
Wow.
Like, we went and found the whole little neighbor's house and the skirt on the street where the bullet hit. Like,
wow.
There were shots everywhere, bro. There were shots whizzing a foot by my face. Like, I'm super lucky to be alive, man. That's why I just, take it all in stride and know to never not to get into some shit like that again. And just try to be a good dude, man. Just try to do some good stuff on this earth instead of some bad stuff because that's what that shit leads to,
So when they stepped over you to run out the
yeah, when they were shooting, and then once he unloaded his clip, I didn't get hit any more times, and the other dude was just shoveling the weed into his bag. And they just ran out. They came over and they had the guns over my face for a minute, and I was just laying there. I thought I was gonna get shot in the face for real. Like, I was just trying to make peace with my maker at that point, honestly, man. Like, I was thinking about my mom. I was thinking about so much shit, dude. Like, I felt like a minute was going by in every second.
Yeah.
Like, the essence of time slowed down incredibly in a point where you think you're about to die.
Yeah.
Like, you'll be amazed how you realize time isn't even real in a way when a situation like that happens and your body releases some sort of chemicals that put you in a different zone, man. And it's very weird. I thought I was gonna die for real, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. Hey, so then what happened next after this?
What happened next?
The guys left?
Yeah, they just left. I told them one time, I was just like, "Don't kill me, dude." I just looked him in the eyes and said, "Don't kill me." And then I remember I just stared at the gun barrels for a second and just looked down them, saw that bullet in there, and then I just looked over at my cabinets and I was like, man, this is how I'm gonna die, dude, over some weed.
Yeah.
You know, so I just tried to come to peace with it, dude, real quick. And then they left, man. They just didn't do it. I like I said, I was looking at the cabinet. I didn't even look at them after that. I was just gonna look away until it came, and then didn't come. They just left. I was like, thank God, and I just crawled out, and then crawled out of my steps, and there was these little girls walking by on the sidewalk, and I was like, hey, I just got shot. I need some help. Come over here. They were like, what? They just like froze up. I was like, yo, come over here. I reached behind my back and like pulled out a cup of blood in my hand. I was like, come here. I need help. They like ran over real quick. I feel bad for that situation those little girls got put in.
How old is little girls?
I'd probably say like 12, 13.
Okay.
So not like super little. They were probably like real just teenagers probably.
Yeah. Okay. So every single human in that situation would freeze. Like if I was walking by your house and I know you really well and you had a cat, you're like, come help me. I would.
You'd be like, what the fuck?
What the fuck's going on? And let alone a bunch of 13-year-old girls.
Like, to put them in that position, they probably never forget that.
Yeah, definitely not.
And there was some construction workers over there that heard it too, because I mean there was probably 12, 13 shots that went off in total, because that dude just unloaded his whole clip.
Which is 9 shots?
I don't know.
Yeah,
honestly.
okay.
They have different size clips,
so
you can. Which it probably was about 9 shots though.
Okay. 9 in one clips, and then you got hit the
3 other times.
Yeah,
I don't know how many exactly, bro. Anything I've said is probably just an estimation, but I know there was a lot flying by, dude. But like I said, everything was weird in that moment. You know, like in that time of extreme stress, when you get put through some shit like that, like in survival mode, it's a weird thing, man. It's like a drug kind of, you know. It's weird. But it's like you're not really that fucked up. You're just like, I don't know, man. I can't explain it. You just gotta feel it. You know?
We're going to take a quick break to let you know how you can help us grow this community. We view the Commonwealth as a group of people working to change the world. By listening and supporting this show, you're crucial members of the Commonwealth. To continue this work, we need help growing our community. Please invite your friends to like the Commonwealth's Facebook page. The link and directions are in our show notes. Now, back to the conversation. How do you come? So you mentioned you were like thought of your maker and your mom and your family.
Yeah. I was just I was just going through my life like, damn, is this how I'm gonna go? There's so many things I haven't done yet, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of a point in my life where I'm like, dude, I'm done going down this path, man. This shit is stupid, you know?
Yeah.
I'm changing, man. Like I'm doing something good.
Yeah.
Know? And I've always been into music, so I've been trying to make music since I was like 11 years old. So that's always been the plan, you know. But I was just doing that other shit because it was easy money that I could invest in my music with. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of busting my ass all day at a job and then being tired as hell coming home trying to work on music, you know, it was convenient. You know, I would just make music all day and make money all day at the same time without even having to leave my house. You know?
Yeah.
So it was super convenient.
Yeah.
So that was another lure, but.
Yeah. So after you get the teenage girls' attention who are walking by, what do they do? Yeah. Do they come in and help?
They come, yeah. They come over, and I told them my phone fell right next to me, so I called 911, called the ambulance, told them to come get me, and they went and got my neighbor, man, and she was a nurse, and she was previously a nurse, and she came down and she put like some pressure on the wounds, and she like is holding my head. And the little girl, I just kept telling the little girls to get me water. Because, man, I was, like, I was getting lightheaded and shit because I was losing so much blood. And I was just laying there looking up at the sky. I was like, man, I can tell I'm getting lightheaded. I do not want to go out. So I kept telling these little girls to get me water. I remember I drank, like, 7 cups of water. I just kept fucking sending them in there to go get some more water.
And how much blood were you losing?
Oh, dude, I lost a lot of blood. I was near death. I mean, blood loss because they gave me a blood transfusion immediately when I got to the hospital, man. When we got to the hospital, I was getting someone else's blood, like, right off the bat. And I could tell I was losing blood, too, because I was, like, fucking, like, getting zony, dude. It was a weird feeling. That was a weird feeling, too, you know?
Yeah.
Just getting to the point where I was like, damn, I hope I make it. Because, I remember I was in the ambulance. Oh, I was fucking scared. I was asking the ambulance people, I was like, am I going to die? Like, am I going to make it? And none of them said a word. I was just like, am I going to fucking make it? They just didn't say anything. they just kept silent. I'm like, God damn it, I'm gonna die in this thing.
I wonder if they're trained to say that.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But at a time like that, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, man, maybe they know something I don't. Maybe I lost more blood.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
And I bet it's pretty traumatic as the people in the ambulance telling every single person you're gonna make it, and then when they die, you feel terrible.
I can see that. So that's probably it. But it was me in the ambulance, dude, because I was home alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it was just me and the ambulance people. Like, I was alone.
Yeah.
I was getting a tattoo before I met the dudes, and I just rode down there on my bike. And if I would have known they had guns, well, I probably wouldn't have done anything because they were outside my apartment by the time I made it back down there on my bike waiting for me. I wouldn't have had any time to arm myself or, protect myself in any way.
Yeah. So then when you get to the hospital, what happened?
Yeah, they gave me a blood transfusion. By that point, it notified I was on my mom's phone service, and it notified my mom that I called 911. So she called my brother, and my brother actually had told me not to meet with these dudes earlier in that day because he's like, nah, don't do it. The deal's too good to be true, I don't think it's a good idea. Like, he was trying to look out for me. I just went and did it anyways.
Yeah.
So I think my brother, once he got that call from my mom, he already knew what was up. I think he knew something happened. So he was on his way down to the hospital. But he called me, and I was talking to him on the phone. That was what happened right when I got to the hospital. I remember they were giving me blood, and I was talking to him on the phone. And they were on the way down there. And then once they got me blood, they sent me into like a CAT scan maybe, or a CT scan or something. Which I remember hurt so bad, bro, because they made me go in there and lift my arms up over my head and take like real deep breaths, and my back was killing me at the time, bro, because I just had two shots in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? It was killing me, and they kept making me hold my breath. I was like, I can't get this thing done with.
Yeah.
But lucky enough, man, I came out that thing with no, internal injuries, no major organs hit. I mean, the shot was like an inch from my spinal cord. So it's crazy, man. Like, I'm just lucky to not have more damage than I do,
Yeah. And then what happened? Was there a police case?
There was a police case. They came. I had to give a deposition, man, and I just tried to keep it brief, man, because I didn't want to. I'm trying to keep it the G code. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you're saying. I don't know.
Tried to keep it brief, man. But yeah, I had to do a deposition. It was some bullshit. For real, that's about it, man. There was a police case. They found one of the dudes, and he got locked up, man. And he's doing a number, man. So, damn, he risked a lot of years of his life for a little bit of weed, about 3,000. I almost feel bad for the dude, man. Like, even though he shot me, it wasn't nothing personal. They just making stupid decisions, man. Just like I was talking about earlier. Some decisions have consequences that are exponentially worse than you would have thought they'd be, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You never know what's going to happen in any illegal situation.
That's an insightful comment. That any decision can be exponentially better or worse.
Or worse,
imagine.
exactly,
Yeah.
bro. In any way.
So he said on the stand while getting convicted that he apologized to you and your family.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Hey, man, he didn't seem like a bad dude, man. Like I said, people, just because people lead down a wrong path doesn't make them a bad person necessarily. Like, things happen in people's lives that lead them to do everything. You never know what someone else has walked in. You never know what is going on in someone else's life to lead them to do what they do. And I'm not saying that as like it's okay to make bad decisions, because it's not. But I'm just saying that shit happens, and I think every human knows that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But yeah, that's what's up, man. I didn't even know he said that. That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that he doing that big of a bid, man.
Yeah. And have you had the chance to thank the nurse or the retired nurse that helped you?
Dude, no, I haven't. I went back there to get my stuff out my apartment, and I met a few of my people that I knew, like my neighbors and stuff like that, but she wasn't there, so I didn't get to talk to her. But then again, now that I'm thinking about it, I might have talked to her briefly, but I was on so many painkillers that I can't remember all the way correctly.
Yeah.
It was like the first day I got out of the hospital that we went over there, and I was only in the hospital for like a day and a half, but Yeah, I was on painkillers and I was on crutches, so I can't remember. I was pretty out of it still.
Yeah.
But I don't think I did talk to her, honestly.
I'm sure both the teenagers, the retired nurse, and the construction crew will remember that day you will forever.
Exactly, dude. The construction crew, there was a couple of dudes that came over and it was making sure everything was okay and asking if they needed me to, if I needed them to get anything out the apartment. And after that time, I was just like, nah, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
And then the police went in and ravished my apartment, man, and they told me they were only going to go where the shots take place, man, and I was like, listen, I got weed in the house, that's it. You could go in there and take that weed, man, like, that's the only illegal thing that's in the house, and it was. I wasn't lying to him.
Yeah.
But I was like, I got knickknacks all over that thing, because I'm, like, real into knickknacks. I'm kind of like a weirdo with that type of shit. Like, I put posters up and shit. You know how my room's always been and shit.
Yes.
But... yeah, man. So I told him not to go mess all that up, and we go back in there, and my place looked like a hurricane hit that bitch, man. Like all my plants were broken. They were like searching in my soil, my potting soil, and my plant to see if I had drugs in there and shit. I'm like, damn. I mean, they're probably trained to do that, too, you know. But it was just a little angering.
Yeah, especially you're coming back on crutches.
Yeah, when I'm the victim, I'm the victim, bro. Like, god damn, I didn't get, you know.
Yeah.
But they probably knew what was up, you know. People don't get shot and robbed for no reason. It's a drug deal, you know what I'm saying?
From the get-go, when my first reaction was like, oh, well, first, is he all right? And the kind of the shock, but also like it's over weed, you know?
I know, something that's legal right down the highway, right down the interstate ways, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I think once you get into levels where it's you know, pounds and stuff like that, it becomes a little different story, because you actually can start making a lot bigger money, and you can't just go in the dispensary and buy a pound, you know. You can only go in there and buy an ounce. So once you start dealing like bigger weight and bigger supply, it becomes a different story with shit like that. But at the same time, that was a stupid decision that they made over weed. It's not worth it. I mean, it's never worth it to go rob someone at gunpoint and shoot them, you know what I'm saying? But for that cost, it was very unworth it. It was not, you know what I'm saying? It was not a good idea.
So you mentioned in the moment that you thought that you were about to die, thinking of everything left in... with your music career that you wanted, like you had music you wanted to create, and now you've been focusing in on that.
I've been focusing in on the music. Like, I remember this is the second time you going to music now. I remember you interviewed me about that music back in the day.
So this is a really funny story, actually. So I took an entrepreneurship class in college, and we created a product that the target market was SoundCloud rappers, and you were supposed to interview people in your target market. And the group was like, oh, does anyone know SoundCloud rappers? I was like, I know Cody Cruz for X.
Straight up SoundCloud. Baby, represent.
And it was before, that interview was well before this situation took place.
It was.
And like a lot of college group projects, like you kind of like piecemeal the work together. And I finished my part, and the morning of the presentation, we're going through it all, and we're clicking through the slides, and one of my group members was like, you know Cody Cruz for X? I was like, yes. And we're like, mind you, we're in the College of Business at the university.
That's funny.
And I was like, how do you know Cruz? He's like, oh, I occasionally buy stuff from him. Is what he says in front of
everyone, in front of the whole damn class.
And I was like, okay. And then he says,
see, that's how you build clientele, right there.
And then he says that while you whenever he picks up from you, you give him some mixtape.
Dude, I'm always hustling, bro. I'm trying to pump that shit out to everyone, bro.
That's what killed me. It's just like Cruz is dropping off weed and mixtapes.
Hey, man, it's a good. I saw it as a good opportunity to pass my music on. You know, I was like, I'm meeting this person. I mean, I might as well give him something else. I was trying to spread myself. I still am, man. I'm just not. I'm approaching it a different way now. You know,
absolutely.
I'm doing it legally.
Yeah.
So that shit's funny, dude.
Yeah. How did the near-death experience affect your creativity?
Dude, it just made me a lot more focused. You know what I'm saying? Like, eye-opening experience, man. I was just like, man, I know what I really want to do in life. I know I don't want to go down this path. I know what I want, and I gotta figure out a way to try to go get it in a different way. You know.
And
that's what I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm doing good, man. It's going good. I'm still living in the old hometown Sydney, man, so it's kind of hard to get a real rap presence there because there's not a big music scene there. But I think the internet is a pretty good tool nowadays for spreading your music, and I'm just trying to figure out that marketing aspect a little better. Yeah. But that's an entrepreneurship too, you know, just trying to start your own business. Eventually I want to get to where I start my own brand, you know, release a clothing line and just try to make money that way, dude.
Yeah. So how have you grown the music thing? What's been successful? Because I was creeping on you beforehand, and you have like there's one social media, I think Instagram, you have like 5,000 followers.
Yeah, 6,000 to 6,500, something like that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
man, that's what's up. It's cool, bro. It's cool, but I need to go more to plays on my songs. You know what I'm saying? I need to figure out how to get my stuff heard by people more. You know, by people that aren't just maybe in Nebraska or something like that. You know, because people in Nebraska are fucking with it, which is awesome, and I'm super appreciative of that. But I'm just trying to go further. You know, like. The Nebraska music scene, Nebraska viewers aren't gonna make you famous. You know what I'm saying?
Same with this podcast.
Exactly.
Like, I need to broaden it from
man. It's you gotta like, man, it's different for every person, you know. So it's like, what's my route? Like, what's my way to do it? It's every day you just gotta like have your mind tuned on thinking like, what can I do to like get myself closer towards my goal? You know what I'm saying? That's just what my mind's thinking all day long.
Yeah. What weren't you spending some time in Denver?
Yeah, I was around Denver for a while. That was kind of last winter. See, I'm out working in the oil fields, man, and usually during the winter there's not as much work to do just because it's so cold and it's hard. It's like hard conditions out there, so it's gotta be like decent weather. So during the winter I was up there quite a bit, man, and I was trying to spread my music, and you know, around the Fort Collins, Denver, Aurora area. It's been kind of moving a little bit. It's been working pretty good. But what about you, man? You got analytics on your Spotify views and shit. You know where they're coming from?
Yeah, and it's as of this recording, it's almost all Nebraska.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to expand it at least to the Midwest. And then,
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, and
it's probably similar tactics on marketing, dude.
Yeah.
For podcast versus music, it's probably pretty close, man. I mean, it's entertainment, you know.
Absolutely, it is entertainment. But like you said, it all comes down to views.
It does, dude. It all comes down to views, and it all comes down to, I don't know, an image. An image is good to build too. I know in the music aspect, I don't know so much about a podcast.
Yeah, it applies.
It does. It does, and it's just more. You know, it's a little more influential on the music side.
Yeah.
Just because there's music videos, and you got to be like a face. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to be like the face of your company or whatever you're trying to build.
So where can people listen to you when this episode's done? Where can they?
Where can they listen? You can listen to me on Apple, Tidal, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, Amazon, anything really. Any major, any minor platform I'm on. So just search Cruise with an A, Junebug.
Why
and
Junebug?
You'll find me. Why Junebug? Back in the day, man, we were super young, and I've always been like real kind to animals and shit, right? Like I've never been a killer, really. You know, I'm a lover, not a fighter. And I love bugs, and I love just all animals that like people always trying to kill and shit. You know, I'm always wondered like, why are you killing that thing? Just because it's smaller than you, or like just because you can? I've never wondered why people like stomp on anthills and like, you know, all that shit. So I was always just cool with bugs. You know, I thought they're pretty amazing little creatures with a lot of the stuff that they can do. So anyways, coming into the story, we were downstairs at my grandpa's house one night, and my cousin was down there with a steak knife stabbing these June bugs. He was killing them, and he was killing all sorts of them. And I was like, nah, quit that. And there was one where I told him to stop, and I slapped my hand down on it and tried to save the June bug. And he came down and slapped my hand. And you see that scar right there, bro?
Yeah.
That's from a steak knife, bro. That shit stabbed me. And I had to go to the ER and get stitches and shit. Like, my whole finger was split open, dude, from a steak knife.
Wow.
Trying to save a June bug.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's how then after that, my older cousin, who I got a lot of game from, shout out Sokwe, he gave me the name Junebug, and it just kind of stuck after that, man.
Nice. So Cruise the Junebug, wherever you listen to music.
Ever you listen to music, man, search Cruise the Junebug with the A.
Well, Cruz, thanks for coming on the...
Nick for an A, man. Always glad to see you.
Come on the show.
It was a fantastic time talking, man.
It was fun as hell.
Hey, stay away from drugs, kids.
Hey. And that is it for today's episode. Thanks for being a member of the Commonwealth. If you enjoyed this conversation, please tell your friends about us and leave a review. If you're interested in helping us grow this community, please invite your friends to like our Facebook page. The link and directions are in our show notes. We release episodes every Monday, so stay tuned for next week.